guys, this is going to be a reading for Gigi Hadid. I remember I did a reading for Zayn, so I know that she is a supermodel who is married to him, and I am remembering, because of similar information coming through, that she is destined to have more children. Obviously free will takes place in this, but there's a promise, there's a pre-birth promise to have more children. Okay, so probably like at least 2 more children. There's a boy, maybe another female, or wait, do you have a female? Do you have a baby girl? So you can even adopt, but there's a promise there. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so you're feeling a little overwhelmed right now is what I'm seeing here with these cards, unless you have just gone through feeling overwhelmed. I'm not sure, but even with this, it's like this resistance. Okay, what are you resisting exactly? I'm not quite sure. I feel like there's some sort of issue going on here. I don't know where this, it feels more like a work-related issue where you're not being recognized for the things that you have accomplished. Okay, but this can also be with your relationship if you feel like there's an argument where you don't feel as if you're being recognized for the things that you do or have done. But I am being more drawn towards maybe your relationships with business, like business negotiations or business relationships. But it doesn't seem, this does not seem good. Whatever's going on does not seem good. And I'm also being drawn to the fact that this could, again, once again, be your relationship with your partner, which, what I picked up before, this should not, you know, this is something that needs to be addressed then. Especially because I feel like it's just petty arguments. This is not supposed to be that as big as it's being. It's like you guys are punishing each other for some sort of disagreement here. Okay, you guys aren't seeing eye to eye. You guys aren't like, you both have your guard up about something, right? And like, you're not seeing eye to eye with something, and someone's trying to like make sense of it for you and to explain that it's really not that as big of a deal as you guys are making out to be. But you're just, I don't know, you're just not having it for some reason. Honestly, what it seems like is I think this because the relationship's coming through and then work's coming through, I think it's a multitude of things. I think that with your work situation, you feel like you're not being paid your dues in the way that you should. You feel like you're not being recognized in the way that you should. You're not being seen the way that you should. And it's upsetting. It's stuff that's happening behind the scenes. It's deals that you're trying to have work out for you that are not working out in your favor right now because you guys aren't seeing eye to eye. You and these other companies or whatever agencies or whatever, you're not seeing eye to eye with that. And then when it comes to your love life, I feel like this is not as significant. It's this decision between the work and maybe you not wanting them to travel. You may not want them to work as much, or, you know, there's distancing that's finally happening now that, you know, current world some circumstances are changing, something like that, where you know, you guys aren't quite 100% seeing eye to eye on that. And that is something that you should be able to get over. This is something that you can work together on. And there is another person, I want to say it's like an older figure. This could be someone that oversees your husband, or it's people that just work with your husband, or it could be other family members, like, you know, the grandparents, or your parents, whatever. And you guys are all trying to like come together and be like, listen, like this can be solved, this can be worked through, like let's try and find a solution here, because it's getting blown way more out of proportion than it needs to be. Let's like keep everything happy, keep happy family. Like we have this newborn, or I'm not sure how old your baby is, but to me it's represented as still very young, where everyone's like doting on the baby, you know, and making sure like let's keep everything peaceful here, because this is very important to do. This is not something that needs to be represented in front of her. And so there's just a lot of that. And there's exhaustion on both sides, because I feel like your husband, he's coming through, he's kind of feeling exhausted or vulnerable, worn down for some reason. There's something there where if he feels overworked, or just overstimulated, or just too much. There's something that's too much that's going on there, where he kind of just, there's this inner need to relax that he's not getting. Like it feels like he's not getting all his needs met in some way. Maybe just like mentally not getting his needs met, you know? And so there's tension that's there, but it really does not seem like there's still a lot of love here, okay? It feels a little bit like, honestly, what it feels like is like if I just like walked into a room of like a big family and they're just not getting along at the moment, and I'm like, okay, like they still love each other, but they're just like look at this card, like this could be represented many different ways, but the way that I see it in this is like two siblings that are just like wrestling, and you just watch them like wrestle on the lawn. You're like, anyway, like it does not seem as intense as maybe it feels in the moment, especially because there's a lot of true compassion there, okay? But this is something that does need to be addressed, okay? This is not something that needs to be ignored longer than it should be. You should not just let this, you know, whatever. What is going on? What is going on? There's something, let me think. It's almost like it's like let's say that your husband, he wants to work. That's kind of what the vibe that I'm getting is, like he wants to go work. You want to work too, but it's not working out the way that you had planned. So maybe you're taking out your frustrations onto him because he wants to work, and you know he's going to do fine. He's going to do really well. And there's that tension there because both of your needs when it comes to that isn't being met. So it's not just him, but then he feels like he has to sacrifice some time and energy with you, which this could be mixed up. So I'm saying it as one thing, but obviously it could be flip-flop, so take it where it makes sense. But that's essentially what I'm getting, where it's like he already knows that what he's going to be able to do is going to provide for the family, and that's something that's very important to him. He wants to be the main provider. He wants to be in his masculine role. It isn't anything to take away from you or overshine you. Has nothing to do with that. It's actually because he cares about you, he loves you, and he's very protective of his family, and he's protective of his child or children. So there's that part there where it's like he knows that his ideas, he has some really good ideas, and that's going to create a bigger and better foundation so that he can bring more finances, more money to the family. Okay, but it's very stressful and very overwhelming to you for many different ways. It almost feels like you have to put yourself on the back burner, or your dreams and desires on the back burner, because someone has to, like, there has to be a compromise. But instead of seeing it as a compromise, you're seeing it as an argument between each other. But again, it's like it's all out of love, and it's all just a misunderstanding. It's all like, we all go through this, so this does not seem like a major thing. Okay, why I'm picking up on this right now, I don't know. My best guess is just verifying with you from your guardian angels that this is not as big of a deal. Like, it's reassuring you, because maybe you do have a little bit of doubts and you're kind of a little bit afraid, like, oh my gosh, like, with this conflict, like, could it get worse? Like, what's gonna happen? And then all these fears and stresses and worries are coming up, and how are we gonna handle these arguments in the future? Are things gonna get worse? Are things gonna be stuck like this for a long time? It's almost like even like digging an early grave is something that's coming through for some reason. But yeah, so there's just that. Okay, so let's see. I'll take all these since they fell out, and then I'm just gonna close it up pretty soon after this, because I think I'm just being repetitive at this point. Maybe there's like this feeling like, you don't feel like there's a lot of honesty, or he's not being honest, or someone I'm going to say they, okay, so this can be applied wherever, where they're not being completely truthful or open with how they're feeling, okay, or maybe it's that you don't believe how they're feeling because of the conflict that's going on, right? So it almost like doesn't feel good to you, doesn't feel right to you, because you're hurt. But I feel like this is an indication that you're worrying because you're taking what was said so personally, and you're taking it to heart, especially because you care so much about the people that are involved. You care deeply, so what they say really strikes a chord with you, and you feel like, you're trying to make it. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to walk away from the situation and let the situation go, or even to let them like have their own identity essentially, and like have their own interests or experiences. And like, I mean, I'm sure it's very hard to have someone that's like extremely famous and also has to travel for work and also isn't going to be around for a long extended time. There is a lot of like real issues there. It takes a very strong person to handle something like that, emotionally. And so there's just there's concern there, there's worry there, and especially if there's been conflict, then knowing that there has to be distance, then it's like, well, how does that affect us now? How is that going to change anything in the background? Stuff like that. And so you're worried that even with this, like, you're worried about that passion not being sustained through this, or like broken because of this, or maybe just like even about yourself. I see you also being critical about yourself, and like just kind of picking yourself apart, like, well, maybe this isn't good enough, or this isn't worthy enough. So you start like turning it inward and attacking yourself. It ends up being this self-infliction because of how that happened. So again, this is just verification for you. They obviously they love you so much, and what I feel is them coming through as if they're saying, I will always choose the right thing. I will always choose what is right for us. I will always choose what is right for me, and what's right for me is doing the right thing. Okay? And so it's even like, I don't know if how they were in the past, but it's saying like things are different, things have changed, and they've only gotten stronger, and they've only gotten better. And so even if it seems as if I'm looking elsewhere, I'm looking at other things, even if it seems that way, I will never choose, like I am able to conduct myself in a way where I will choose love. I will choose that. I will choose that path. Okay? So let's see any specific for this for you. And I'm going to grab, I came out with 2. I'm going to grab from here, from Archangels, and I'm going to do specifically Archangel Michael. And also to just find the innocence in things, and the innocence within you as well, and the situation. Okay, so ask Archangel Michael to help you with this situation. So just thank him and describe the situation that you're in, and pray to be filled with faith and peace at all times. And gentleness. Be gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. And I'm even being drawn here and here. The forehead, the middle, you know, where your third eye is. I feel you need to, even with the innocence, it's like being innocent with yourself. Really being sweet to yourself and kind to yourself, and kind and compassionate with the situation. Okay? Oh my goodness. Okay. And I'm going to end it here. Please listen to this. This is exactly. Don't turn inward and... Okay. You are a beautiful soul. Look within and you will see it. There is a pearl in your heart. Close your eyes and feel it. The most precious thing is inside you. Calm your mind, meditate, and you will feel your soul's infinite spiritual realm. In looking within, you will never go without. Old feelings are resurfacing, and again you will find yourself on an emotional roller coaster. Don't fight it. Instead, allow these feelings to surface without judging them. They are neither good nor bad. They are simply a part of you. Own them, embrace them, and love them. Bless the past and be grateful for the deep and profound healing that is taking place. So that's my reading for you guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.